What is telecommunication? Telecommunication is the long-range transmission of information by electromagnetic means. Since its creation, the telecommunications industry has developed further with new technology, such as the telephone, radio, television, and computers. Today's telecommunication devices have shortened communication time, making it easy to email or connect by video chat to someone across the country almost instantaneously. Such advances in telecommunication have altered how many professionals work. What types of companies are in telecommunications? Telecommunications is a subset of the information sector that allows consumers to communicate with one another through voice, video, audio and text. Companies in the telecom sector may manage or handle equipment, services, or both. Telecom equipment includes the devices consumers use to communicate, like phones, modems, wireless and landline infrastructure equipment and networking devices, such as Wi-Fi routers. The types of companies that work in the telecom equipment subset include computer, phone, and semiconductor manufacturers. Telecom services companies transmit and deliver the data that users communicate or receive with their devices. They are the channel through which telecommunications travel. Normally, consumers and businesses enter an arrangement with service providers, where they pay a regular fee to use telecom services. There are three types of telecom services. Wired. Companies in wired telecommunications provide services that require a direct connection to a network of wires that transmit data. Such services include landline telephone, DSL internet, cable television, internet, direct-to-home satellite television. Wired telecommunications companies may own, share or lease the networks they manage. The content they transmit over their networks, such as television shows and movies, doesn't fall into the category of telecommunications. It belongs to other industries, such as broadcasting and motion pictures. Wireless. This type of telecommunication does not require a direct physical connection. Instead, it transmits signals over networks of radio towers. The signals travel from antennas to wireless devices, such as mobile phones, personal computers and radios. The wireless telecommunications subset mainly consists of three types of companies: cellular phone service providers, internet service providers and radio broadcasting companies. Satellite. Satellite telecommunications companies transmit data via satellites. These companies are mainly private or federal organizations that transmit specific types of data, such as messages between public safety officials. Interconnections among networks. As communication needs increase, network connectivity becomes a major issue as users want to access a remote computer. Gateways such as routers and bridges help solve the problem. Interconnection between two networks of the same type is accomplished by a relatively simple bridge, implemented in hardware and software. Interconnection between dissimilar networks, for example, a LAN and a WAN, is achieved through a more complex router. A router is a device that accepts messages in the format produced by one of the networks and translates them into the format used by the other. Local area networks. Organizations small and large use fast local area networks, LANs, to interconnect personal computers, and thus make a basic workgroup tool. Local area network, workplace for a workgroup. A LAN interconnects computers within a single site, such as an office building, a manufacturing plant, or a corporate or university campus. Characteristics of a LAN include: 1. Its scope is commonly measured in feet. 2. Communication speeds are very high. 3. Used as a local means of computing and communication among users in larger firms. 4. Are owned by the organization. 5. Afford a sense of control and the flexibility to meet the demands of the end users. A LAN gives its users the following capabilities. 1. Users can share resources, such as a fast printer or a database. 2. Users can collaborate by communicating over their LAN. This collaboration may be facilitated by groupware that runs on a LAN. 3. Users can access other networks within a firm or outside of it via bridges and routers. There are two principal LAN designs. One peer-to-peer, peripherals are located at terminals and system administration is largely left up to the users. Two server-based networks, shared resources are placed a dedicated server that manage a given resource on behalf of user workstations sharing the resource, file server, printer server, gateway, optical disk server. Most of the servers are dedicated to their task, using them as workstations degrades the performance of the net. Local networks based on private branch exchanges. A company with a large number of telephones, from 50 to over 10,000, often elects to own a computer-based private branch exchange, PBX, an electronic switchboard that interconnects its telephones and provides connections to the public network. Characteristics of a PBX. 1. Gives a company control over the usage of its telephone system and offers a variety of features, such as call forwarding or voice messaging. 2. May be employed as a switch for data communications. 3. Many newer PBXs use digital technology, eliminating the need for modems, and perform conversions needed to ensure connectivity between various equipment and telecommunications links. 4. Easy to connect a new workstation to the net. 5. Speeds of PBX-based networks are limited. Client/server computing. An important current development in organizational computing is downsizing, moving from platforms based on mainframes and mini-computers to a microcomputing environment. These architectures are based on the client/server model. Characteristics of client/server computing. 1. The processing of a given application is split up among a number of clients, serving individual users, and one or more servers, providing access to databases and doing most of the computing. 2. Main objective of a client is to provide a graphical user interface to a user. 3. Main objective of a server is to provide shared services to clients. 4. In client/server computing, individual applications are actually written to run on several computer platforms to take advantage of their capabilities. 5. Client/server computing is difficult to implement. Most frequently used models of client/server computing are 1. Two-tier architecture. 2. Three-tier architecture. Characteristics of two-tier architecture. 1. Client performs presentation services. It displays the GUI and runs the program that determines what happens when the user selects a menu option. 2. Server manages the accesses to the database. 3. Clients send remote procedure calls to activate specific applications logic on a server. Characteristics of three-tier architecture. 1. An application server runs most of the application logic, with the user workstation responsible for the display at the front end and the database server providing database servers at the back end. Objective is to distribute applications so as to reduce the overall hardware costs while minimizing the network traffic. Issues of client/server computing. 1. Is attractive in terms of their acquisition price as related to their performance. 2. Is moving computing control out of the data centers and into the end user areas. 3. Software is complex, and is expensive to maintain. 4. Generate significant traffic on the firm's backbone network that connects clients and servers. 5. Can be performed in LAN and WAN environments. Wide area networks. Wide area networks are the fundamental infrastructure of organizational computing. These long-distance telecommunications networks employ a variety of equipment so that the expensive links may be used effectively. The offerings of common carriers and of providers of value-added services may be combined with private networks to create an overall organizational network. Telecommunications equipment for wide area networks. Ones include equipment that controls message transfer and makes it possible to share the links among a number of transfers. Host computer. A WAN has a powerful host computer. The host runs a system program, called a telecommunications monitor, which processes incoming messages, passing them to the appropriate application programs, and accepts outgoing messages from the applications in order to transmit them into the network. Front-end processor. Relieves the host computer of most of the tasks involved in network control. Under the control of its own software, the front-end processor accepts messages coming from the network and routes outgoing messages to their destinations. It performs the necessary code conversions, encrypts and decrypts secure messages, and performs error checking so that the host deals with a clean at messages. Cluster controller manages several terminals, connecting them to a single telecommunications link, and performs communication tasks for them, such as screen formatting, code conversion, and error checking. A cluster controller may also allow the terminals to share a high-speed printer and may handle electronic mail among the cluster terminals. Multiplexer combines the data that terminals send to it over local low-speed links into a single stream. This stream is then transmitted over a high-speed telecommunications channel and is split by another multiplexer on the opposite end of the channel. Concentrator combines transmission from several slower terminals that operate in a burst mode into a single transmission stream that requires a link of lower speed than the sum of the speeds of all the terminals combined. A concentrator stores messages from terminals and forwards them when warranted. Switches establishes connections between nodes that need to communicate. Access terminals include a variety of dumb terminals, with no processing capacity, and intelligent terminals with processing capacity, such as personal computers. Where do facilities for wide area networks come from? Some network facilities are owned by user organizations, others can be leased by them, or simply used on a pay-as-you-go basis. Among the typical facilities owned by user firms are workstations, host computers, and front-end processors. The essential providers of telecommunications links and services are common carriers and the vendors of enhanced services on value-added networks. These include 1. Common carriers, 2. Providers of value-added networks, 3. Private lines and private networks. Common carriers are companies licensed by a country's government to provide telecommunications services to the public. The vast majority of common carriers provide telephone service. These carriers offer the use of a wide area telecommunications infrastructure, that is, facilities for the transmission of voice and data messages. Common carriers offer a service called virtual private network where a user firm can purchase guaranteed access to facilities with specified capabilities, such as transmission speed and access points. Providers of value-added networks. Value-added vendors lease facilities from the common carriers and provide telecommunications services to their own customers. These vendors add value to the basic infrastructure furnished by the common carrier. The value-added networks, VAN, provided by the vendors furnish services over and above those provided by common carriers. Private lines and private networks. Instead of using a service that has to be shared with others, a firm may lease its own private lines or entire networks from carriers. This can have economic advantages as compared with VAN use, as well as provide faster and more secure communications. 7.8 The Internet and electronic commerce. The Internet has changed the face of individual and organizational computing. Driven by the possibilities offered by the Internet and the web, electronic commerce is expanding its reach. Present and future of the Internet. The Internet is the global network of computer networks without a centralized control that has become the contemporary information highway. Characteristics of the Internet. 1. It is run in a decentralized fashion by a number of voluntary organizations, the principal of which is the Internet Society. 2. It is a medium of communication, a source of information, and a developing means of electronic commerce. 3. A major obstacle to its development has become the limited capacity of the links interconnecting the networks. Facilities for communication and information access. The Internet provides several essential facilities that organizations can use for internal as well as inter-organizational information sharing and communication. The principal categories of Internet use include 1. Communication. Electronic mail, email, facilitates quick exchange of information and ideas, and is the Internet facility in widest use. Email can be used for one-to-one communications or to participate in larger communications forums, news groups. 2. Information access. The Internet provides access to the largest organized, loosely, repository of information on Earth, the collection of electronic documents stored on sites all over the world. The main problem is finding the information. To help with this problem, web search engines have been developed. Examples include Gopher sites, using indexes such as Veronica, or via OASE, Wide Area Information Service, keyword search. The World Wide Web. The World Wide Web, or simply, the web, is an information service available over the Internet, providing access to distributed electronic documents via hyperlinks. Characteristics of the web. 1. Grew out of the need of scientists who wanted to share information and to collaborate from geographically dispersed locations. 2. Is a client/server system. The web is a collection of electronic sites stored on many thousands of servers all over the world. Each site consists of a home page and often other pages stored with it. Pages contain hyperlinks to related pages, usually stored on other sites. 3. Access to the web is through a client program, known as a browser. The browser sends out for the needed page into the Internet, interprets the formatting directions on the retrieved page, and displays the page accordingly on the screen. 4. To access a website, you provide the browser with the site's identifier, known as a URL, Uniform Resource Locator. 5. A search engine is a web facility that maintains its own information about the documents available on the web. Electronic commerce. Electronic commerce is sharing business information, maintaining business relationships, and conducting business transactions by means of telecommunications networks. In simple words, electronic commerce is doing business electronically, replacing most of the paper and telephone work with computer-mediated information and transaction exchange. The Internet, and the web in particular, are emerging as the principal means for this new way of doing business. Some potential uses include: 1. Establishing an electronic site on the web to promote your business. 2. Online marketplaces. 3. Advertising at frequented websites. 4. Establishing newsgroups. 5. Job classified. One of the biggest drawbacks for the use of the Internet for conducting electronic commerce is the lack of financial security. The framework of electronic commerce is summarized in 3 levels. 1. Infrastructure. The hardware, software, databases, and telecommunications that together deliver such functionality as the web over the Internet, and support EDI and other forms of messaging over the Internet or over value-added networks. 2. Services. Messaging and a variety of services enabling the finding and delivery of information, as well as negotiation, transaction business, and settlement. 3. Products and structures. Direct provision of commercial services to consumers and business partners, intra-organizational information sharing and collaboration, and organization of electronic markets and supply chains. Intranets. Using the Internet, many firms have implemented internal networks of websites, known as intranets. Intranets are set up on corporate LANs and WANs. An intranet is separated from the public Internet by a facility called firewall. The firewall program runs on the server computer, preventing access to the intranet from the public Internet, but allowing access to the Internet. Intranet is, in effect, the owner company's private Internet. Intranets have become important business tools for 1. Sharing information and knowledge among a company's employees. 2. Accessing databases and data warehouses. 3. Organizing the corporate workflow around electronic documents. 4. Enabling collaboration. Information system architecture. The high-level design of a blueprint for the organizational information system is known as the information system architecture. This plan must support the present and future computing and communications needs of a business. Today, the architectural blueprint of many organizations rests on internetworking, interconnecting a number of local area networks with a corporate wide area network, or using the Internet connectivity. Fundamental components of an architectural plan must address the following concerns. 1. How will the processing power be distributed? 2. Where will the databases be located? 3 network interconnections. 4 protocols. Using telecommunications for business process redesign and to seek competitive advantage. Telecommunications give an organization the capability to move information rapidly between distant locations and to provide the ability for the employees, customers, and suppliers to collaborate from anywhere, combined with the capability to bring processing power to the point of the application. All of this offers a firm important opportunities to restructure its business processes and to capture high competitive ground in the marketplace. Through telecommunications, this value may be 1. An increase in the efficiency of operations. 2. Improvements in the effectiveness of management. 3. Innovations in the marketplace. Telecommunications may provide these values through the following impacts. 1. Time compression. Telecommunications enable a firm to transmit raw data and information quickly and accurately between remote sites. 2. Overcoming geographical dispersion. Telecommunications enable an organization with geographically remote sites to function, to a degree, as though these sites were a single unit. The firm can then reap benefits of scale and scope which would otherwise be unobtainable. 3. Restructuring business relationships. Telecommunications make it possible to create systems which restructure the interactions of people within a firm as well as a firm's relationships with its customers. Operational efficiency may be raised by eliminating intermediaries from various business processes. Telecommunication is the process of transmitting information over a distance using technology such as telephone lines, cable, or satellite. It is a key part of the modern world, as it allows people to communicate with each other and access information and resources from around the globe. Types of telecommunication. 1. Voice communication. This type of telecommunication involves the transmission of spoken words, such as through telephone calls or radio broadcasts. It can be done through various technologies, such as analog and digital phone lines, mobile networks, and Voice over Internet Protocol, VoIP. 2. Data communication. This type of telecommunication involves the transmission of digital data, such as text, images, and video. It can be done through various methods, such as email, instant messaging, and file transfer. Data communication relies on various technologies, including the Internet, Ethernet, and serial communication. 3. Multimedia communication. This type of telecommunication involves the transmission of a combination of voice, data, and video, such as through video conference calls or streaming services. It requires the use of technologies that can support the simultaneous transmission of multiple types of media, such as broadband internet and codecs. 4. Satellite communication. This type of telecommunication involves the use of artificial satellites orbiting the Earth to transmit and receive signals for communication. Satellite communication is often used for long-distance communication or in areas where there is no access to other communication networks. It relies on the use of satellite dishes and antennas to transmit and receive signals. 5. Wireless communication. This type of telecommunication involves the use of wireless technology, such as radio waves or infrared waves, to transmit and receive information. It includes technologies like cellular phones, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. Wireless communication allows devices to communicate without the need for physical connections, such as cables or wires. 6. Optical communication. This type of telecommunication involves the transmission of information using light, such as through fiber optic cables or laser communication systems. It is often used for high-speed communication over long distances, as it allows for the transmission of large amounts of data at high speeds. Optical communication relies on the use of lasers or LED lights to transmit information through fibers made of glass or plastic. A telecommunication network is a system of devices and technologies that are used to transmit and receive information over a distance. There are many types of telecommunication networks, including telephone networks, radio and television networks, the Internet, satellite networks, cellular networks, and optical networks. Telecommunication networks can be analog or digital, depending on the type of signals they transmit. Analog networks transmit information using continuous waves, while digital networks transmit information using discrete signals, such as ones and zeros. Telecommunication networks can be classified according to their scope and size. Local area networks, LANs, are small networks that are used to connect devices within a small geographic area, such as a home or office. Wide area networks, WANs, are larger networks that are used to connect devices over a larger area, such as a city or region. The Internet is a global network of interconnected computers that allows for the transmission of data and information. It is made up of many smaller networks, including LANs and WANs, that are connected through servers, routers, and cables. Applications. 1. Telephone systems. These systems allow for the transmission of voice communication over a distance. They can be analog or digital and can include technologies like circuit-switched systems, which establish a dedicated connection between two parties for the duration of the call, and packet-switched systems, which divide the voice data into packets and transmit them over the network. VoIP is a type of telephone system that uses the Internet to transmit and receive calls. 2. Radio and television. These are used for the transmission of audio and visual information over a distance. Radio and television signals are transmitted through the air using technologies like broadcasting, which transmits signals over a wide area, and satellite, which uses artificial satellites orbiting the Earth to transmit and receive signals. Cable television uses a network of cables to transmit signals. 3. Internet. The Internet is a global network of interconnected computers that allows for the transmission of data and information. It relies on technologies like TCP/IP, which is a set of protocols that defines how data is transmitted over the Internet, and Wi-Fi, which allows devices to connect to the Internet wirelessly. Broadband is a type of Internet connection that offers faster speeds and higher capacity than other types of Internet connections. 4. Satellite communication. This involves the use of artificial satellites orbiting the Earth to transmit and receive signals for communication. Satellite communication is often used for long-distance communication or in areas where there is no access to other communication networks. It requires the use of satellite dishes and antennas to transmit and receive signals. 5. Cellular networks. These are wireless communication networks that use cells, or small geographic areas, to transmit and receive signals. They rely on technologies like GSM, CDMA, and LTE to transmit and receive data. Cellular networks allow devices like phones and tablets to connect to the Internet and make calls when they are not within range of a Wi-Fi network. 6. Optical communication. This involves the transmission of information using light, such as through fiber optic cables or laser communication systems. It is often used for high-speed communication over long distances, as it allows for the transmission of large amounts of data at high speeds. Optical communication relies on the use of lasers or LED lights to transmit information through fibers made of glass or plastic. Future of telecommunication technology. The future of telecommunication technology is likely to involve the continued development and advancement of existing technologies, as well as the emergence of new technologies. Some of the areas where we may see significant progress in the future include 1.5G. The next generation of cellular networks, 5G, is expected to offer faster speeds, lower latency, and more capacity than previous generations. It is likely to be used for a wide range of applications, including Internet of Things, IoT, devices, self-driving cars, and virtual and augmented reality. 2. Internet of Things, IoT. The IoT refers to the interconnectedness of physical devices, such as appliances, vehicles, and sensors, through the Internet. The telecommunication technology of the future is likely to involve the widespread adoption of the IoT, which will allow for the automation and integration of many aspects of our lives. 3. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, AI, is likely to play a significant role in the future of telecommunication technology. It may be used to improve communication systems, such as by providing personalized recommendations or automating customer service. 4. Quantum communication. Quantum communication involves the use of quantum mechanics to transmit information. It is expected to offer higher security and faster speeds than traditional communication methods. The telecommunication technology of the future may involve the use of quantum communication for sensitive data transmissions. 5. Space-based communication. In the future, it is possible that we may see the development of communication systems that use satellites or other objects in space as relay stations. This could allow for the transmission of data and communication over long distances and to remote locations. 6. Increased connectivity. The telecommunication technology of the future is likely to involve even greater levels of connectivity, with more devices and systems being connected to the internet and to each other. This could lead to the automation and integration of many aspects of our lives, as well as the development of new services and applications. Q1. How has telecommunication technology evolved over time? Telecommunication technology has evolved significantly over time. Early forms of telecommunication, such as the telegraph and the telephone, used electrical signals to transmit information over a distance. As technology has advanced, more sophisticated methods of telecommunication have been developed, including radio, television, and the internet. Q2. What are some challenges facing the telecommunication industry? Some challenges facing the telecommunication industry include the need to keep up with rapidly changing technology, the need to protect against cyber threats, and the need to ensure that communication networks are reliable and secure. Additionally, there are often regulatory and policy issues that must be addressed, such as issues related to privacy and net neutrality. Q3. What are some career opportunities in the telecommunication industry? There are many career opportunities in the telecommunication industry, including roles in engineering, network design and management, customer service, sales, and marketing. Individuals with skills in areas such as computer science, electrical engineering, and network security may have particularly good job prospects in this field. Q4. How can I learn more about telecommunication technology? There are many resources available for learning more about telecommunication technology, including online courses, books, and industry publications. Joining professional organizations and attending conferences and workshops can also be helpful in staying up to date with developments in the field. Q5. What is a modem? A modem is a device that allows computers and other devices to connect to the internet or other communication networks. It modulates and demodulates signals to transmit and receive data. Q6. What is a router? A router is a device that connects computers and other devices to the internet or other communication networks. It routes data packets between devices and networks and can also serve as a firewall to protect against cyber threats. Q7. What is a switch? A switch is a device that allows computers and other devices to communicate with each other on a network. It receives data packets and sends them to their intended destination. Q8. What is a server? A server is a computer that stores and manages data and applications and provides them to other computers and devices over a network. Servers are used to host websites, store and process data, and provide other services. Q9. What is a cloud? The cloud refers to a network of servers that are connected over the internet and are used to store, process, and manage data and applications. It allows users to access data and applications from anywhere, as long as they have an internet connection. Thank you for watching this video.